Assalamu guys, I'm back again with another video, and in this video what we are going to be looking at is how can you check if a certain date stored in a certain cell is past your a test date. Sample would be what we have here is a list of credit cards and their expiration date, and we want to find out if any of those credit cards have either A, expired, or B, are going to expire in the next 3 days, and it should should label them as such. Now one important thing before we go any further, these credit card numbers and the expiration dates, they are totally completely randomly generated, and they have absolutely no connection to any real credit cards issued to any real person by any real bank. Okay, they are just random numbers and random dates, just to to explain the concept here in this video. Okay, and have no connection to real life. All right, now having said that, this column has the credit card numbers, the column C has your expiration dates. Now what we are going to be doing is checking each of these if this date has was before today, or today plus 3 days, so whether this date would have will be passed 3 days from now. Okay, so how would we do that? Now in this video what we are going to be doing is we are going to be looking at 3 different ways of achieving the same result. Now method number 1 is, what I'll be doing first, is using a formula. Okay, and using a formula to label the dates which have either before today or are going to be before today plus 3 days, so 3 days from now. Okay, so we're going to be using, first of all, we'll use a formula to achieve this. Now the second option would be, and that would be, I would do this in this sheet here, that would be using conditional formatting, and then we'll go back to the sheet and do the same thing excuse me, using Visual Basic. Alright, now having said that, let's get started. First of all, what we are going to be doing is labeling which of those expiration dates, and as a result of which cards have either already been expired or they are going to expire in the next 3 days, thereby giving the bank enough time to contact the customers and let them let them know that the cards have expired. Now the first entry is 30th of March. Okay, for this guy here. Now 30th of March, if you check it compared to today, today is the 24th of March, so 30th of March is not before the 24th of March, so this card is okay for as far as that condition, that check is concerned. Now the second check that we have to do is check if it's going to expire 3 days from now, so 27th of March. Now 30th of March is again not before the 27th of March, so again it fails that conditions also, so it is still valid. Okay, now let's implement that what we just discussed. Let's implement that in a formula, and what the formula is going to do is going to check this date against today and see if this date is already passed, and then if it is, it's going to say it's expired or about to expire, and then it's going to check, it's also going to check if this date is before today plus 3 days. Okay, if it is, again it's expired or going to expire, will be the message that will show up. Otherwise, if it's neither past today and not past today plus 3 days, then we'll give a message of being valid. Okay, now let's get started. Let's construct the formula. If And since this date, we are doing a double comparison. We're comparing it to today, and we'll also be comparing to today plus 3 days. So I'm going to put an OR statement, and if C2 is less than today, and the other check would be if C2 is less than today plus 3. Okay, if either of those two conditions are met, then give a message, expired or going to expire in next 3 days. So an OR statement, so it means if C2, the 30th of March, is before today, the 24th of March, no it's not. Is C2, 30th of March, before the 27th of March, no it's not. So what it should do is, it should give valid if either of those conditions, or both conditions, or either of those conditions is met. Well, it can't be both, but if either of these conditions are met, it should say expired or going to expire in the next 3 days. Okay, hit enter, and it says valid, because 30th March it doesn't meet to less than before today or before today plus 3 days. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this formula all the way down. I'm just going to expand this column. Now you see 30th of March, it checks if 30th of March is less than 24th of March, no it's not. Is 30th of March less than 27th of March, no it's not. So give valid. Obviously if 30th of March is not expired, then 31st is not going to expire. Now let's look at this 12th of March. Now is C4, the 12th of March, is 12th of March before the 24th of March? Yes it is. Condition met. Okay, so it's going to say expired or going to expire in the next 3 days. 6th of April obviously is valid. 8th of March, date is passed, so it's valid. 23rd of April is still valid. 3rd of March is before today, expired. 11th before 24th, expired. 21 is before. Let's see if there's any that's just going to be on the borderline. See this guy here, 24th of March, that's today. Now if you look at this OR function, it says if C21, the 24th of March, is less than today, is 24th of March less than before 24th of March? No it's not. But 24th of March is definitely before 24 plus 3 is 27. It's definitely before 27th of March. So it should give you this message. Okay, so you can see our formula is working. And then obviously what you can do is put a filter here and just filter out the expired or going to expire in the next 3 days. And these are the credit cards that have either already expired, or they are going to expire in the next 3 days. And what you as a banker working for the bank that has issued these credit cards, what you need to be doing is calling up these customers, let them know their cards have either expired or they're going to expire in the next 3 days, so they need to get replacements. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of this filter again. Okay, so that was one way of doing this, and this was doing it through a formula. Now what we are going to do is we're going to be looking at another method of doing the same thing, well approximately the same thing, but what we are going to be doing is, instead of putting a message saying that it's going to expire or has already expired, what we'll do is we just highlight these cells wherever they have either expired or going to expire. We'll make them red so they kind of stand out. Okay, and we will be doing that using what we call conditional formatting. I've already done a video previously for conditional formatting, I believe. I'll put a link down in the description. So you can go and check that video out also. So this is the same sheet, same data that we had earlier. Now this is the column that has the expiration dates that we need to be looking at, and what we'll be doing in this example is using conditional formatting. Now what conditional formatting essentially is this option here. Now what this essentially is, it allows you to format cells based on certain conditions. As a result, it's called conditional formatting. Once we actually go through the motions of actually applying that here, you'll be clear to you why and how to do this. Okay, so we'll first do it on the first cell. Conditional formatting, we have to create a rule, okay, a new rule, and what we are going to be doing is we're going to create a formula within the conditional formatting. If that formula turns out true, the formatting would get applied. If it's false, the formatting would not get applied. Okay, so we'll use a formula to determine which cells to format. So what we'll do is, just like we did in the previous slide, not in the previous slide, I'm sorry, in this sheet here, we applied the formula. We checked this date against today and today plus 3 days. So we will be doing the same thing here. If I'm sorry, not if this date is less than today, or if this date is less than today plus 3. Okay, now you see how it puts the $sign and it locks those cells. We'll be getting rid of those, because what we will be doing is, once we do this, we will be copying the format down. Okay, now here's where you put the formatting. So click on formatting, and what we're doing is we're filling in with red, and maybe font will make bold, and we'll make it into a white font. Okay. Now the formatting is only applied here. Now what we'll do is we'll use the format painter, and we will just essentially go down the list and apply the same formatting to all those cells, and there you have it. Now wherever the expiration date was either today or it was 3 days, it is going to be 3 days, it's going to expire within the next 3 days also, it should highlight, and that's essentially what it has done. Now if you want to be calling these customers, what you do is you put a filter here, and in the filter, earlier what we had done is we had filtered on the message. Here we just filter by color, and these are the ones that have expired, or they are going to expire in the next 3 days. Okay, so that's essentially how you would use conditional formatting to check the expiration date. Okay, now let's do the same thing but in Visual Basic. So what we'll do is we'll switch back to this sheet. Okay, and I'm just going to show you now I'm just going to get rid of this message here because we don't need that. Okay, now I just saved. Okay, now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be inserting a Visual Basic routine here that will actually go down the list and check which dates either have expired, were before today, or are going to be before today plus 3 days. So what we do is click on Developer, click on Visual Basic, and we need to be in this workbook, and not in the journal but in the workbook. Okay, so here's where we will be punching in a code, small program that will essentially go down the list and check which ones have expired or are going to expire, and then apply the formatting. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to have a looping, because it's going to check the first one, then it's going to check the second, then the third. So we're going to create a loop that, you know, the check happens and then goes to the next one, then it goes to the next one. So keep repeating till it comes to an end. Okay, so we'll assume we have about 100 such cards that we are checking the expiration for. So for each cell, okay, in range, now we are now specifying the range. Now if you check, the date is in the C column. Okay, C2 to maybe C100. Oops. Okay, now what should it do if this is true? Well, not true. What should it do for each of those from C to C100? What should it do? It should check if cell value, that is the date that's stored in that cell, is less than date plus 3. Okay, if that is the case, oops, sorry, and we also going to do is make sure it doesn't highlight the blank ones, and cell value not equal to blank. Then what it should do is cell interior color index is equal to 3, which is the code for red, and cell font color index is equal to 2, which is code for white, and then cell font bold is equal to true. Oops, I can't seem to be able to type today. Okay, now this all is going to happen if the date is if today is less than today, if the date is less than today plus 3, okay, and it's not blank. So you should go through this motion, and we're gonna close off the end statement. Now this only captures today plus 3 days. What about before today? What we'll do is we'll just copy paste this formula down here. Essentially what we're going to do is get rid of this plus 3. So here what we're saying is has checked if it's in the next 3 days. Now it's checking if it's already expired. Okay, and then next. What this next does is for the first cell, for the C2, it checks if C2, remember it had 30th of March, if that is before today plus 3, so today is 24th plus 3 is 27, before, if 30th of March is before 24th of March, no it's not, so this gets ignored. It's going to come here, it's going to check if 30th of March is before 24th of March, no it's not, so that gets ignored. It will keep going through till it finds a cell which has, in the expiration column, has a date which is either before the 24th of March or it is before 24 plus 3, 27th of March. So that would capture even today. well, if a card is going to expire today, it will capture that also. Okay, so that is a Visual Basic program, small program that we wrote, and I'm going to close this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to save this and reopen, and you'll see that the formatting has been applied. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to close. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and reopen the same video. Also, not same video, same Excel file. I'm sorry. And this should now saying security warning macros have been disabled. This is the default setting in Excel, which is for your own protection. But for this example, what we need to do is we need to enable them. So enable content, and there you have it. Now through Visual Basic, what it did was it went through each date and checked it if it meets that criteria or not. Okay, so now if you notice, this got skipped. It did not highlight the 27th of March. That is because we said date. If you go into the program, the Visual Basic code that we wrote, it should be less than this. So today is 24th plus 3 is 27. It should be less. Now we are not counting the 24th, 27th. So if you want to capture the 27th also, what you need to do is make this small change and save this. And now when you reopen, it captures the 24th also. Okay, so just to recap, what we have done is we have looked at how to use a formula to see if a date is passed or going to be passed a certain date threshold. We looked at doing the same thing through conditional formatting. Oh, by the way, if you see here, this did not get captured. So if we go into manage rules and edit rules, where it says either less than today or less than today plus 3. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the equal sign here as well. Okay, and that's how you would capture if it falls on that date. If it would capture that also. So essentially, what just to recap once again, dates that were either past a specific date or were going to be past a specific date, those were either labeled or highlighted using formulas, the if statement in a cell. Then we looked at doing it in conditional formatting, and then we looked at how to do it in Visual Basic. That's all for this video. If you like this video, please kindly give it a thumbs up, and if you like to see more videos like this, or if you have been enjoying the content that has been uploaded so far, I request that you kindly subscribe as a way of supporting this channel. Thank you very much, and see you next time.